Hello, I'm Alison Woods, and today on the Beacon Radio Show, we will be looking at several different films as well as talking to experts on media theory. We have an exciting guest today, Jack Woods, the director of a short film, Anywhere But Here. The film is based on a neglected young girl's travel to find a place to plant her flower and her struggle to find what is going to do with it. Today we are going to find out what type of work went into filming like this. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Alison.
How are you today, Jack?
I'm good today, thanks. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. So let's get down to business. What went into making your new film, then, Jack?
Well, I did a lot of audience research to see who I should market the film towards, as well as to see if I could take a niche format and make it in a way that appeals to a mass audience.
How did you undertake this research? And was there any particular websites or apps you used?
Well, I did a paper-based questionnaire. This gave me initial information about my target audience. I then analysed that information in a way that I could easily pick out what I needed to do with the information I had been given.
So what type of conclusion did you make from the questionnaire?
Well, I made a lot of conclusions from the questionnaires. Would you like me to take you through it question by question?
If you don't mind, that would be perfect.
My first question was, what is your favourite genre of film? This allowed me to see the current state of audience awareness of film genres. We had a quarter of votes going to comedy and another quarter going to action. This isn't a very big surprise since both genres have had a lot of big film releases and also hybrid genres of both of them, such as Deadpool. However, the biggest surprise was the amount of votes I got from true stories. They are dramatised versions of real life events. This was very useful to me as I wanted to make a social realism film. The two genres can tie into each other nicely because of the way they both focus on realistic events. Social realism being a kitchen sink story that's gritty and down to earth, whilst the true story is real events that have been blown up and are extremely dramatised.
Did it help to think about this whilst you were filming your film?
Of course, it helped me to keep track of who I was filming for and what I should be doing to keep the audience interested. This provided me with the aspects that they did and didn't like, such as horror, getting no votes in the genre question. That meant that there shouldn't be any elements from horrors, not that would fit into a film with a plot like mine.
Okay, that's interesting. What was your next step in finding out about your audience?
My next step was to find out the gender of my audience. I had the majority of people state they were female, which was about 60%. We had about 10% that did not want their gender known, and 30% left said they were male. From the data I got, I found out that females were the ones that put down true stories to be their favourite genre, meaning it would be better to focus on them as my target audience.
Very interesting. So, did you have any questions about where they would consume media?
I do actually. The next question was, what media do you use more? This was focused on the way they absorb the media, whether they take notice of internet-based like advertisements on websites or videos on Facebook and YouTube, and video-based such as movies and television programs, sound-based such as radio, music players and music channels, and live media. These are things like streaming websites such as Twitch TV and websites where you can subscribe and stream live football matches. This was interesting for me because I was expecting most people to stream videos and other sources of media through the internet. However, we got video-based media as the most used. This isn't very surprising as it is very likely to have a TVs and a way to download TV programs or films onto different MP4 devices.
So, you must have really learnt how to market your product. What other questions did you ask your audience about?
Well, the next one was, where do you consume the majority of media?
Was this so you could see where they would be most likely to see your product?
Well, we got a very big outcome for people watching media at home. This isn't very surprising because we have a large amount of technology accessible to us within our home. This can range from computers to televisions to mobile phones, meaning they have the greatest range at home to consume this media. This leads to it being the best place to try and get them to consume the media being made. This helps us to see where we should invest our time and effort when making advertisements. For 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 a poster, I decided it would be good to have a film poster that got the feel of the film, so I based it around one of the more influential scenes in the film. We then got the other half of the circle that is split into eighths. This is a split between consuming media in the car, which was a section of other that a lot of people wrote down, but it's related to our next category, which is travelling. Although they can be classed as the same thing, people we surveyed wrote both. The next was at the pub or at a pub or a club or something like that. This is easily done because some people frequent pubs and clubs to watch sporting events as part of a large group and to socialise with their friends. And the last one was at work. It isn't unusual for the workplace to have background entertainment whilst they work. This could be good for the radio advert or interview, depending on how much people actually concentrate on the radio.
So, from where they were able to consume the media, you targeted the best way for them to be able to distinguish the best way to get focused on your film.
Yes, in short, we then went on to how long they spent watching TV or film. We didn't get as much variety as I thought we would have from this question, but most people estimated they watch about 11 to 25 hours of television or film a week, whilst just over a quarter said they watch about 26 to 40 hours of television a week. This allows us to see the viewing habits of our audience with the help of the next question to determine the best time to target the audience.
So, what was the next question?
It was, when are you most likely to consume media? And to be honest, I would have expected the question to have a small bit of variation, but we got one flat audience.
When is the most likely time your audience are going to consume media?
From 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. This mixed with the previous answer means that we can that they probably watch about 2 hours a day within this time period, and that it would also be best to market our film then. It helped a lot when thinking about the types of audience we were going to target. The reason for this is certain channels have a high capacity for certain types of viewing, depending on what time it is and what program it's on. So there's no point trying to market a kids film at 12 a.m. on a horror movie channel. I think this is the best way to get my target audience would be to do it during late night soap operas. This will help my film because it makes it more accessible to an audience that will appreciate the film I'm making for what it is, rather than marketing it to people that don't really care.
So, what is the difference about your film?
As we see from the next question, the fact that my film is short may have an impact. Asking the question how long do films you watch usually last gave me the scope of how many people watch short films. We have about 5-6 of people that said they mainly watch films that last about 40 to 120 minutes, and the remaining 6 said that they normally lasted 120 minutes or over. This shows that not many people have had a large interest in short films. This could be a new experience to many people and allow them an insight into more in-depth, down-to-earth movie plots. We can use the shortness of the film as a point of interest for people looking to view the film.
That's very interesting. Did you find anything else about your audience when researching to make this film?
Yes, we have our most diverse set of answers next. I asked the question, on what device do you consume media?
Could this question possibly get so many different answers that there can't be that many devices to access media on?
Well, we had a range of 5 or 6 categories to begin with, and also had another option where you can put down your own answer. We'll start with the biggest chunk, which was TV. This gained a quarter of all the votes within the question. This shows us that people still watch a lot of television within their lives and spend quite a lot of time watching it. The next biggest category is computer. This surprised me quite a bit because I was expecting mobile devices to be next on the questionnaire. This must be due to the use of social media as well as many different sites you can use to do all different kinds of things. It might also be attributed due to people having to use a computer at work and not being able to use their mobile phones at work due to rules and or their own ethical standard. This come then comes mobile devices. This is very believable because a lot of people own mobile devices and other means of communications that can be easily connected to different Wi-Fi hotspots or use 3G or 4G data to provide a use to people who want to get online on the device. After that, we have a joined amount between reading material and car radios. The reading material is interesting because you could have ads for films in a lot of magazines like Sight and Sound and other such magazines which should be classed as quite niche. Whilst car radio is a very common item that gets used quite a lot, this means that most people would listen to them, but not many people thought of it, meaning they might not take notice to it. This means that even the joint two with the least amount is tablets like iPads and Kindles come with the least amount of votes. Not very many people have access to different types of media on these devices. That could possibly due to this could possibly be due to the items themselves being quite bulky and hard to use. And with the final segment, we have the Sony Walkman as another category. This is quite niche and would be very hard to create something for unless we used an audiobook for the film, and the chances of that happening are quite slim.
What else did you try to learn about whilst you had feedback off of your audience?
Well, I really wanted to try and figure out what makes mainstream media so attractive, so I decided to ask a question: do you believe you get a good experience out of mainstream media? I gave them the boxes with numbers 1 to 5 and pointed out that 5 is good and 1 is bad. I got results that are a little one-sided, but if it is honest, it still helps me. A little over half the people in the questionnaire said they got an average experience out of mainstream media. This means that they are possibly looking for something better and more fulfilling to watch. I think this is good information for my film because my film is the complete opposite of the saturated superhero movie plots and that are quite big at the moment. It's a down-to-earth kitchen sink drama about a little girl wanting to plant a flower. This change of pace might interest some of the people that aren't as invested in mainstream media.
Wow, that's a lot of people that aren't invested in cinema. However, I can see where they are coming from because I like to go see a movie once in a while, but I don't go to every new release.
After this question, I decided to ask them, have you ever watched a short film before?
I don't think many people would have, would they?
No, a little over a quarter had seen a short film. I think this would be quite a new way for them to see film. Instead of having a massive build-up, you get straight into the depth of the plot and understand a lot more about your character and how they feel by more than just the speech. I feel like the way the technical elements are used will give them more of an insight into just how diverse films can be.
You keep on saying short films, but how long does a short film have to be?
It has to be from 0 to 40 minutes. This links me to the next question of how long was the short film the people who were asked had seen. Over half of them left the box blank and crossed out, meaning they hadn't seen the short film. This means this is a whole audience that is untapped and needs to be introduced to short films. However, a small group have seen short films. We have just over a quarter saying they've seen short films from about 10 to 19 minutes long, which is quite good because it's a little less time than a television program. So they might be able to watch it if they don't have enough time to watch a television program. An even smaller chunk of people, equaling about an eighth, said that they had watched one that's about 30 to 40 minutes long.
So many people aren't interested in short films.
I wouldn't say that. I can prove with my next question that people are at least a little bit interested in short films. I ask, would you be interested in watching short films? I didn't get a single answer that said they wouldn't be interested. However, I got a lot of people saying that they might be interested. A little over half said that they would be interested.
Well, Jack, that was a detailed breakdown of the work you do before making a film, but I'm sorry to say we've run out of time. It has been nice speaking to you on the Beacon Radio Show.
Thanks, and you too.